Good morning, everybody. You're tuned into Cragcore. Thank you for being tuned in today. So today is Monday the 24th of July 2023. So today I saw something on the internet, and it was these two people trying to promote their, I think it was a questionnaire. It's like some sort of fucking life thing. And the general gist of it was understanding the psychology of women for men, basically. And this guy was saying that these are what I call typical nice guy mistakes. Now, I'm gonna have to fucking disagree here. I'm gonna have to say that there aren't any nice guy mistakes. However, there are manipulative, vindictive user mistakes. For instance, if you're a nice person, you know, whether you're a man or a woman, if you're a nice person, well then that's okay. Just continue being a nice person. If somebody goes out of their way to either use that as a weapon against you, you know, so they can take advantage of you, well then that's on them entirely, not you. You know, you could say that it's naive to continue being a nice person when somebody's manipulated you and, you know, used you for their gain. But what's the alternative? You're going to become a cynical, non-trusting, negative individual because you've allowed your own personal character of who you are to now work against you. Again, it's about perspective of your life experience. Ultimately, somebody taking advantage of you isn't your fault. Now, you could be slightly guarded, of course. You know, you could protect yourself better. Maybe learn about how to discern between good and bad people instead of just fucking running straight into situations that leave you wide open. But ultimately, if that's who you are and if that's the truth of who you are, well then it's ultimately just the way of it, isn't it? My point is, somebody else taking advantage of you is on them. That's their behaviour. You shouldn't have to beat yourself up and say that there's something wrong with you for being a good person because other people want to take advantage. If you think about it, it makes no sense to beat yourself up for that. You know, this guy was saying that women tend to lose interest. And obviously it was backed up by a woman, of course. He was talking to a woman on the video. And she was agreeing, you know, going, yeah, we lose interest, blah, blah, blah. You know what? If a woman loses interest in you because you tell her she's beautiful, if she loses interest in you because you tell her that she's wonderful, because you treat her like a fucking queen, well, what does that say about her? I would say she's got some issues somewhere in there that needs sorting out. She's got some baggage, some emotional baggage somewhere that needs sorting out. Because if someone's going to lose interest in you because you say that they are, you know, all these nice things, that's not your problem, bro. That's not your problem. Unless, of course, I mean, there are ways to look at this from other angles, of course. Every aspect of life is multifaceted. You could be one of those idiots that love bombs people. If you don't know what a love bomb is, I think technically it's basically when you use loving gestures or say loving words to get away with being a bad person, so it disarms somebody else against you. Love bomb. If you're one of them people, then you're a twat and you're not actually a good person, so null and void. And ultimately, I dare say you probably won't be taken advantage of because you're a nice person, because let's face it, you're not a nice person, bro. There you go. That's that one put to bed. Some people are simply more loving than others. Some people show that side of themselves more than others. You know, it doesn't make you a good or a bad person just because, you know, you tell somebody that they're fantastic. If that's the way that you feel about them, well then fucking tell them. What would you rather? Never tell them? Fuck it, dude. If you're a nice guy, don't be afraid to make these so-called nice guy mistakes. There aren't any. There are just people that can't handle people being nice to them, and they run a mile. That's on them, dude. That is on them, not you. Fuck it, you know. Eventually people realize, you know, that that's ultimately what they want. People realize, I think, eventually, after going, if they've had a certain consciousness over their life experience, they realize that love is the key, man. You know, you've got to love yourself to be loved. Truly, to allow yourself to be loved, you've got to love yourself. And if you're telling somebody that you love them, and obviously, you know, let's face it, some people just aren't ready for that. If you've told somebody you love them after a week, then it might not be the right kind of thing to be saying. Who knows? People love in different ways. But, you know, if you're in a loving relationship and somebody loses interest, let's just say the L word hasn't been used here, and you're just telling somebody you think that they're beautiful. If they don't like that, if they kind of run away, perhaps they just don't want to accept it in themselves. Because by you saying that they're beautiful, by you saying that you think they're amazing, they're having to accept it within themselves that they're beautiful and they're amazing. And if they don't believe that they are beautiful and amazing, they will try and stray away from it. So you see, guys, you know, it's not really about a nice guy mistake at all, is it? Because it's not a mistake. It's actually an issue with the person's own self-image. Because if you truly love yourself and somebody says to you, I think you're fucking beautiful, well then you're going to go, well, thank you very much. Thank you, I'm very pleased that you think that. You know, I think you're amazing. If you've got self-worth and you actually understand your own self-worth and acknowledge it and live by it, somebody says, I think you're amazing, you're going to go, well, thank you very much. Because you've got self-worth. You acknowledge the fact that you're amazing within your own right. And somebody else seeing it is merely happenstance. And the fact that somebody else can see it is now a blessing. Because you understand it within yourself. So somebody else seeing it is fine. If you have no self-worth at all, and somebody says to you, I think you're fantastic, well then you're inner demons are going to tell you not to accept that because they don't want you to. They want to keep you downtrodden without self-worth. They've got you believing you've got none, so therefore nobody else can see it in you at all. And if anybody does, run a mile. That's it. So there are no nice guy mistakes at all. I'm going to have to fucking put that one out there. I'm going to have to go out on a very big limb here, which is something I don't do a lot of these days. I don't often go out on limbs, but right now I am. There are no nice guy mistakes. There are just conceited, vindictive individuals that have no self-worth. And there are conceited people that actually have no self-worth too. Like a toxic conceit, where they drain from others. But, they're just vengeful, vindictive people that have no self-worth. And those other aspects, the vindictiveness, is that, in my personal belief, that comes from their own inability. They're outwardly attacking because of their own inability to love themselves. So that's about them needing to do work. If somebody leaves you, and this is the thing, this particular app or questionnaire, whatever the fuck it is they're trying to sell to you, is geared around getting you to psychologically understand and therefore rectify your behavior, so that you can keep hold of this person, ultimately turning you into a manipulative abuser. Because now you're no longer living your life based on the truth of who you are. So that means the people that are in your life are no longer based upon the truth of who you are. So they're not around you because of you. They're around you because of this fucking projection of you that you're putting out there. This lie version of you. Okay, so if you've got to change yourself, on the other hand, if you've got to change, which, let me tell you, the former, teaching people to be manipulative, fucking lying abusers in order to keep people in their life, if that's not fucking heavily toxic, I don't know what is. It's disgusting, actually. But on the other hand, if you've fallen for this crap bait and you think that that this is something that you want to do and you're going to have to change everything about who you are, you've got to stop making these nice guy mistakes. You've got to start pretending to be something you're not in order to keep this person in your life that would leave you if you just acted to if you would just be yourself around them. Well, what a fucking sad state of affairs. You should never ever feel the need to change who you are to keep someone. Think about that. You're going to change who you are to keep someone. Now, I'm not talking about being held accountable for your actions here. If someone says, hey, hold on a minute, that was a bit shit, and then you go, oh yeah, actually, that was a bit shit, I don't think I'll do that again. That's something completely different entirely. That's not changing who you are to keep someone. That's somebody calling you out on bad behaviour, you acknowledging it and making a change because it's for the best for everyone, you included. If you've got to stop being the essence of who you are, which is a nice person that doesn't mind telling people how you feel, simply because other people are afraid to hear it, well then, that is fucking weird. It's toxic. You should never ever be asked to do that. And if somebody requires that of you, well then that someone is not the right someone for you, quite simply. If you spend your life being manipulated and being used by negative, bad people, that probably does have something to do with you and your inability to be able to discern between, the right people and the wrong people, and your inability to learn from these life experiences. Because you can say no. You can have the ability to say, well, actually, I'm going to check out here because I've had this before and I can see the patterns, and, with past knowledge of my own life experience, I can say, well, I'm now going to not accept this. And then you've put that out there in the universe, into the fucking ether. And now the universe knows, okay, fair enough, this person's learned. I don't need to keep presenting this individual with these experiences because they've learned from them. So perhaps now it's time to bring someone into their life who is worthy of that energy. Or maybe it's got fuck all to do with the universe at all. Perhaps it's just simply the energy you're now putting out, because like attracts like. It's like a fucking magnet. Maybe the energy you're putting out now is one of actually, self-empowerment, and you're not actually going to accept this. So ultimately, on a deep subconscious level, it propels these people and actually attracts the right people. Maybe that's it. Nonetheless, you will stop being encountered with these fucking negative leech individuals that just want to use your kindness against you. But allow me to reiterate here, it's not a bad thing to be a nice person. It's definitely not a bad thing to be a nice guy. It's definitely not a bad thing to be a nice guy. I would say, do your own research. That's what we should be doing these days. Do your own research. It worked with all the shitty jabs, didn't it? And all the other crap the fucking government threw at us over the past few years. It's worked with every other aspect of our life. If we've ever done our own research critically, is that not how science works? It always tends to work out better, if you ask me. So I'd say do your own research. Look at some of these people that project, this, I don't like a nice guy. Look at that person. Look at how they act. Take a step back. And you'll probably fucking see that these people are they have very low self-esteem. They have no self-worth. And that's quite possibly because they've been through bad situations themselves and never had the ability to process that for the wonder that it actually is, for the healing that it could actually, an elevation and evolution that it could actually offer the human being. They've actually allowed it to be used as a weapon against themselves, and now they are without their own self-worth, and they project it on others by making other people feel like they're the bad people for being nice to them. If you think that it's a bad thing to have someone be nice to you, well, then you've got issues. You've probably been mistreated in the past, which means there is still hope. There's still hope. You can still go and sort yourself out. It just takes fucking self-work. It just takes work, man. That's all. It's about having the right perspective over your life experience so that you don't hurt other people with it. Because think about it. On the flip side, if you're a person that doesn't like nice guys, if you're a person that doesn't like people being nice to you, through your projection of that fear of your own personal experience in life, how many people do you think you've damaged in return for your damage? When will the debt be paid? Because that's the way you're seeing it. I'm owed a debt. I'm fucking hurt. So how many cynical individuals are walking around out there afraid to be who they are because they've had to suffer the fucking bad behaviour of others, the projections of feared individuals that are afraid because of their own life experience. How about we all fucking do the work, bro? You know, how many people have you hurt? Because I dare say there's plenty of men out there that have come across these women that say, I don't like a nice guy. So then these nice guys start acting differently. You know, and then what happens is they eventually get themselves the women that they think they want by acting a certain way, always second guessing themselves, always holding themselves back, maybe even becoming bad guys themselves. Those relationships never work out because, you know, they're lying to themselves, so how could they ever truly be happy? And then they live their life in misery because they are cheating themselves, living a lie. And deep down, they know it. Now you've got two people that are living a fucking lie because of one person that won't accept that it's okay to have somebody be nice to them, to say that they're beautiful. It's all fucked. It's all kinds of fucked, you know? It all starts with self-worth. Look at yourself in the mirror today and tell yourself that you are a fucking valid human being. Tell yourself that you are beautiful, that you are worthy of yourself, your own self-love. It's okay to love yourself for who you are. As soon as you start loving yourself for who you are, man, anything that isn't necessarily, and this is the key, this is the ticket to actually self-improvement. It's not going, oh, well, I hate my saddlebags, so I'll go running. No. Love yourself for who you are. And then anything that doesn't fall into the parameters of that love will be positively acted about. It'll be, oh, well, I love myself, so therefore I could perhaps, you know, eat a little bit differently, or maybe go for a run or something, because now it's a positive attitude towards what it is you're doing. And everything else will fall by the wayside. And if you actually go to yourself, you know, you say to yourself on the flip side of this, I hate my saddlebags. And then you go, well, actually, you know, you weigh it up against all the other things that you love in life. And you say, well, actually, I'm worthy of my self-love. I love myself. Maybe you won't even give a shit about them anymore. And you won't even think about eating healthily. Or, you know, cutting out bits and bobs. You won't even think about the need to go fucking jogging or whatever. You'll just say, well, I love myself for who I am. I accept me. If I like the odd Domino's pizza, then so fucking be it. And eventually, that self-love will be the energy that you put out, to the point that other people will just simply gravitate towards you who like you for who you are. Fuck it. This is probably why people end up fucking getting, let's say, love makes you fat. Because all of a sudden, somebody's in love with you and you love yourself for a little bit. So you end up being yourself. And then you get fat. Maybe you're just meant to be fat. You know? Maybe that's just how you love yourself. Unless, of course, you're eating on a problem. But that's a completely different story entirely. And that's not self-love at all, that's self-loathing. But we discussed this a little bit in the Depression Demon. And, you know, we could go into it again, I guess. But not right now. Different chain of thought right now. I just think that self-worth And self-love and accepting who you are is the most responsible thing you will ever do for yourself and everybody else who you come in contact with. Because when you do that, everything starts to change. Everything will start to change. Even the fucking planet around you, the world around you will start to change. Because now you've got self-worth. Think about it. And on that note, I'm going to wish love and peace to all things everywhere. This is Craig Course signing off. Peace.